You are listening to Radio Cosmos.
All night long.
Bravo! My compliments, little lady.
Commercial!
Break for 30 seconds.
You are now listening to BaaD Radio.
Hello and welcome to BaaD Radio. BaaD stands for Business at a Distance. This is a show about local businesses and business networking. We are here in the News Radio WFLA Orlando studios from 11 a.m. to noon every Sunday, and I am your host, Angela Smarito. And before we jump into the show, I want to give a shout out to some of our show sponsors because without them, we would not be here now. So first off, Forge IT Consulting, providing a fully outsourced IT department with a personal touch for small business. ForgeITConsulting.com. Get Me Automated. Ashley and her team educate business owners to grow their business through custom automation. GetMeAutomated.com. Osteopathic Health of Orlando. They offer integrative medicine and regenerative medicine and so much more. Visit osteopathic.healthcare. And last but not least, Body Street of Winter Park and Winter Garden. Experience EMS Fitness Studio, where it only takes 20 minutes a week to get a full body workout. Visit Body Street US for your free trial, not tile. All right, so now we get to the good stuff. We have Carrie Moreau with Certified Best Roofing back in the studio with us this week. And when I reached out to Carrie about having her come back on, we were very strategic about the day.
That's right.
Because tell everybody what today or why we picked this week.
It's officially hurricane season.
Boo, boo. You know, when I was younger, hurricane season was like, oh, I hope we get hurricanes.
Yeah, like snow days, hurricane days. Yeah, no school.
And then it was hurricane parties. Everybody comes over. We lose power. We play Yahtzee. We get drunk. You know, it's a big party. Now it's like, no, my roof.
Storm damage.
Flooding. I'm like, no.
Yeah.
So as you get older and you start adulting, your whole thought of hurricane season changes.
Yeah, where's my insurance policy?
I know, right? Exactly. Well, before we jump into all of that stuff, let's talk a little bit about Certified Best Roofing and give everybody an update because it's been over 6 months since the last time you are. And so things change, you grow. I've gotten a chance to get to know you a little bit better through BNI, and so let's just talk about the company and all the services.
Happy to help. Happy to give all the information. So Certified Best Roofing is a family-owned Central Florida roofing company.
So it's owned and operated.
That's right. By myself and my brother Derek. He's the smartest guy in the world when it comes to finding the ways that water into your home. He's a complete genius. He can see in 3D in his mind.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's really
because you have
cool.
to do that because you can see a water stain here, but it's coming from over there.
Yep, that's right. But anyway, we're a great team. We love working together. We have an amazing staff. There's a couple more family members that work with us as well. Yeah. So my daughter Grace is our operations manager, and then her husband Andrew is one of our senior project managers.
That's fantastic. Yeah. I mean, that's the way BaaD marketing is too. It's like, you know, Tommy's the graphic designer, Anna's the social media manager, and then my nephew's wife is our editor. So, you know, it's like keep it in the family. I love it.
I mean, some people hear that and they imagine, you know, some type of crazy reality TV show where there's lots of yelling and throwing things. But no, it's not like that at all.
No, not with us either. But, you know, I guess not everybody has the same family dynamic.
Well, we've been in business since January of 2021. So we're excited because we're approaching our 5th year. Our 5th anniversary is going to be here before we know it. Yeah, for us, totally. And we cover all of Central Florida.
Right. And
so all types of roofing.
That's the one thing that always stands out with you is that you do service. And
that's right.
And your main number one concern is not to just try to put a new roof on the house.
That's right.
So I know I'm kind of jumping ahead, but
no, it's okay. It's true because there are so many roofers in the area, so many good ones, but a lot don't do repairs.
Right.
You know, so we do because we have so much confidence in my brother's ability, of course, to find those leaks and our team's ability to fix it so that it doesn't keep coming back.
Is that why a lot of companies don't?
Yes, because it's hard to offer that warranty. So if you don't fix the roof in the exact spot where that water's coming in, it's just going to keep happening. And then, of course, you know, you have clients that aren't happy, and it's just
that honestly explains a whole lot to me because I never really understood why they didn't offer service. I thought it was just because they wanted the big paycheck. I thought,
I mean, maybe. I just know for us, it's a way to build relationships with customers. So if we've done a good job in your home, you're going to refer us to your neighbors. You're going to call us when you're ready to replace. And so we love building relationships. And so doing repairs is part of that.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell the quick story of you saving my neck and my husband's neck before one of the hurricanes. I can't remember if it was Helena or Milton or whatever.
Probably.
It was like 6 days before the hurricane. I'm like, Carrie, there's like this dark spot in our bedroom. And you got us in. You got the roof repaired. You did it like it was so affordable, and I was so grateful. That is like how you build a relationship.
That's right. And then when the hurricane did hit, no issue, right?
Yeah, no issue.
No issue. And that was the whole thing. But also, if there had been an issue and it would have leaked in that same spot, we're on the hook for it for a year. So we would have come back and fixed it, even if we don't want we always say our roofs don't leak, but sometimes things happen.
Yes,
so
exactly.
It makes me very proud to know that it held up and you had peace of mind during the hurricane.
It did. And I mean, the thing is that I don't know if I'm sure I did tell you, but our house flooded with Ian.
Oh, gosh. So you've got a little bit of hurricane PTSD going on.
We both do. We both do. We had French drains put in, which is a big thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but still, you can see both Tom and I, we kind of just are like,
holding your breath.
Yeah, we do, even with the extra stuff. So we do have some some bad feelings about that. And it was tough, girl.
Yeah.
It was tough. The insurance wouldn't cover it.
It's a nightmare.
The second living room filled up with water.
I can't even imagine.
We had just dropped like $20,000 on new floors.
Oh, so sorry.
It was awful.
I know.
FEMA came out and gave us $300.
Yay.
We couldn't even, like, the people that rent the drying, the big fans.
Yes.
$5,000.
Yes.
$5,000.
It's so expensive because they know, or they're relying on, the emergency of it all, right? So that's what they charge.
Yeah.
That's what they charge to get it done.
We actually had friends. One of them was, he's in BNI too, Zach Edler with Impact Electric. You guys should do like a one-to-one because I think that you could do a lot of referral stuff. He had some fans, and I mean, like it's almost like our network came together and gave us the fans to help us dry out the room. Yeah. Because at that point, I didn't have $5,000 to shell out to pay these people. So anyway, so that is my story with Certified Best Roofing, and I've just had you guys out for another mysterious water thing, and the gentleman was on time, very courteous. And you know what I mean? It was just a really, really nice experience. So 100% faith in referring you, and I mean that's a big thing. So
we have to do the basics well. If we're going to be in people's homes and working on their most valuable asset, their home, we have to do it right. Do it right the first time.
So when you and your brother got together and you're like, okay, let's do this, how did you like break into the market? Because honestly, in Florida, it's a pretty tough market.
I love that question because a huge hailstorm actually is how we broke into the market. So we got everything up and running in January and got everything set up. We're ready to go, got our truck wrapped, all this stuff. And then we got a few referrals and different people who are like, come do a roof inspection, come do whatever. But a major hailstorm came through the Aloma from Winter Park down 426 Aloma through Oviedo, giant hail, like 2-inch hail.
Right. I still see some cars that have the things in it.
It damaged so many homes, and we were right there. And, right in the midst of all of that is where our office is. And it hit a lot of people that knew us and that had like touch points, and seen our truck, and it launched us into business. That one hailstorm.
I like I said, I could say a lot of things, but people are really like, don't say that's a God's gift because a lot of people are damaged. But honestly, that's
we needed to be there. People needed, response time, and they needed, new roofs put on right away, and they needed a lot of things. And some companies were still struggling coming out of COVID. There was a lot of uncertainty in the roofing industry at that time, and so we were just in the right time, or in the right place at the right time, able to, we didn't have like book logged of roof installs to where we're like, oh, you're gonna have to wait 8 weeks or 10 weeks. No, it was like we can do it.
That's amazing.
Took off.
So we're going to run to break. I know that goes so fast, but when we get back, we'll have more BaaD Radio. So everybody stay tuned. Oh, welcome back. And this portion of the show is brought to you by none other than Premier Couples Superstore. There's no better time than now to visit Premier Couples Superstore because they have got a huge selection of lingerie, toys, love oils, and a ton of great gifts. 5009 South OBT or shop online at premiercouples.net because a couple that plays together stays together.
Oh, yeah.
That's right, baby. So we're here with Carrie with Certified Best Roofing, and I know that always gives everybody a nice little grin. The producer earlier was talking about he's like loves to watch the guys that are guests when after we do that live read because they're like
they get a little awkward,
like, a little squirmy. It's
funny.
But honestly, Premier Couple Superstore has been promoting the show since I launched it 4 years ago. So their commercials are what we call very vanilla commercials.
Yeah.
All right, so we talked about how you got launched into the industry, and I think that's a great story. I love the fact that you can be so specific with it. It's like one hailstorm, this is it. So this is what got us on the map. Yeah. So the one thing, were you in Florida and for the 2004 hurricanes?
Oh, yes.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And so
that was Charlie. And the other ones around it, but Charlie's the one that people talk the most about.
Right. So Anna, our daughter, was 6 days old. So I was on another plan. I mean, I had a 6-day-old baby at home, and our roof basically got ripped off part of it.
It was scary.
But at that point, there was a lot. The point I'm trying to get to is that the roofing industry got a bad stigma around it because we had some people coming in. They said they were going to do the work, and
there's still people doing that today.
That was my question. And so tell me about that because like that's something that for me is something that still sticks. It's kind of like you remember something and you're like, oh yeah, that was there was a lot of fishiness going on.
Yeah,
what was that?
It's people in the industry, so they do have experience. They know how to walk the walk, talk the talk. Maybe they even look, they got on a logo shirt like the one I'm wearing. They present themselves. They're knowledgeable enough. They are personable. They're charismatic, whatever, and they get money from homeowners. Like, pay me this right now, and I can take care of you. And then they drive off, and you never hear from them again. I mean, that's something that happens today. I mean, I just remember reading an article just a couple weeks ago about someone that stole $21,000 from a homeowner and then never came back. I had a close friend of mine that happened to her but it wasn't a roofer. It was a contractor to rebuild a bathroom in her home. He was not licensed. The state does have a fund that helps people that get in those situations.
Really?
So yeah, they'll go after that contractor that not necessarily licensed person, but they'll go after that person and prosecute them and then hold them accountable for that money. And so she did get a little bit of a reimbursement from the county fund, I think it was. And then they prosecuted him, and she just ended up getting her full refund.
Okay, so
from that person.
Prosecuted like he went to jail, or at least got that kind of treatment.
Like I don't know how all the legalities of it work because I don't do it, so I don't know how it works. I don't do that to people, so I don't know and it's never been done to me. So I don't know how it works, but I do know there's things put in place to help, and there's laws there to protect homeowners. But the best thing to do, if I could just add, is that most people just don't know the resources that are available online and really easy to get to. So there's the licensing for the state. That's the DP. Oh my gosh. And my brain,
it happens.
Anyway, there's a website you can go, you could just Google search, or you could go into chat or whatever you're using, and you can say verify contractor license in state of Florida, and it'll take you to the Department of Professional Regulation Services. See, I got it. DPRS.
It's actually a hard one.
It just came. So that will come up, and then you can search by name, you can search by company name, and then you can find out if their license is active. So in order to have an active license, you also have to have some things behind it. So you have to have, like you can't have any felonies or charges against you, or you have to have insurances in place. So in order to be active, you can find. I mean, that's where you go to even find if your nail tech has a license. It's the same.
Right.
It's the same.
Definitely. And then I think that the state of Florida was trying to protect homeowners when they abolished the AOBs, the assignment of benefits.
But there's still companies that are door knocking that are using some type of version of it.
Really?
Yes. And I hear about it all the time. And they're like, just sign here, sign here, sign here. We'll get you a free roof. And they're still doing it. It's not exactly as it was before, but if you ever have a door knocker come to your home and wants you to sign anything up front, I advise people not to do that. You don't have to sign anything, but what they want to do is take over your claim, use an attorney, push it through. And the reason why they do that is that most people don't know that insurance pays out more than a cash roof costs.
Okay, explain that.
So they have their own way of calculating how much they will pay out to replace a roof.
An insurance company.
Yes,
okay.
And they use an estimating system. I could get into all the technicalities, but really I like to keep it super simple for people and say, don't sign anything.
Right.
If you do have damage and they tell you, oh, you have damage, well, then call in the claim yourself. Call in the claim, get the insurance adjuster from the insurance company will come out. If you still don't feel like they're treating you properly from insurance, there's other avenues. You don't have to go directly to an attorney to sue, but the first step would be a public adjuster. And we know so many, but it's called a public independent adjuster.
Well, I think that the biggest problem, and this is what I've seen, is that a lot of people don't know what a public adjuster is, and they don't know the role of what a public adjuster does.
Yes.
And I see that with a lot of people. Even though they're out there and they're out there to help people.
Yeah. People are like, oh, they want to take a percentage. And it's like, well, yeah, that's what they're going to do. They're going to take a percentage when they win your claim. But the great part about that is that if they win your claim and it's more than what it costs to actually get your roof done, you save money. You save money in the end. And you're not having to come out of pocket. Plus, that adjuster is going to argue with your insurance company, present all the facts, present the documentation in such a way that they're going to make sure you get enough to cover what you need.
Well, they're also trained. They're trained to know the cost of goods. They're trained to know the lingo. They're trained to do all that stuff so that they can talk with the insurance companies. I mean, I'm not a huge fan of insurance companies just because I've because I've had my experience and stuff like that. And I always feel that their first course of action is to decline a claim. That's like first time you could send it in, declined, and no real reason. And so I think Brooke Bolts was on it, and that eliminates like 70% of the people just accept that at face value.
Yeah, they do. And you don't have to accept it at face value, but so many people don't know. But either with an attorney or with an adjuster, what's great is that most of the adjusters I know came from the corporate side of insurance. And the reasons that they got onto the other side to work with homeowners is because they couldn't deal with the decisions coming down in their, coming down from their underwriters or corporate offices or whatever, claims managers, whatever. They didn't like what was happening to homeowners. And so they were like, I'm going to go on this side and I'm going to advocate for the homeowner. And that's what you really have someone in your corner. I don't think I've ever met an adjuster that did not come from the insurance world.
I don't think I have either. So with Certified Best Roofing, if somebody calls you before they call the insurance company, I
just had a call yesterday. Yeah. So I got referred, a realtor referred me her best friend, had a conversation with her. Her roof is old, but she's like, I know there's damage because someone else took a look, but I don't feel comfortable working with that person. Could you come and document it? And so I went through the process of what we do. Would you like to hear what we do?
I do.
Okay. Yeah. So what we do is once we have that conversation, we intake all the information. I'm going to send out one of my people to get on her roof that's trained to find storm damage. They're going to document all of it. So
photographs, everything.
Photographs, notes, up close, far away, all the things. They're going to document everything, and then we're going to give her a report. And with that report, she can decide if she wants to call in a claim or not. But the other key piece of being able to submit an insurance claim is when you call it in, they're going to ask you what your date of damage was.
Exactly.
So if you're like, well, I think there was a storm a couple weeks ago, it's not really helpful for you. So what we do is we have some roofers I tease, and I'm like, we're kind of like meteorologists.
You
have
weather tracking. You say there was a storm on May 4th.
Yeah.
That probably was the cause of this damage.
Exactly. So we're able to pull up her address, look over the last 2 years of what storm, wind events, hail events.
2 years, huh?
Yeah, that affected that home, and see, likelihood of which one would have been the one that caused the damage that she has. And so we get that storm date, we give her the report, and we give her everything that she needs to call up her insurance company and initiate the claim.
See, that's fantastic, because that's where people don't know what to say.
And she will not sign, she won't sign anything with us. There's no obligation of anything. So a lot of roofers want to lock that relationship down. But we find that if we allow the homeowner to do what they need to do, that it's a much better relationship moving forward.
Yeah, that's a perfect note to take a break on. So we're going to run to break, and when we get back, we'll have more BaaD Radio. So stay tuned.
These together.
Welcome back. And this portion of BaaD Radio is brought to you by Ground Up Property Services. Do you know what your sprinkler system did last night? Probably not. So now's a good time to get your irrigation service by Ground Up Property Services today. And be sure to ask Rick Hall with Ground Up about a water sensor too, so your lawn doesn't get too much water. Call 407-468-4295 or visit groundupinc.net. I know with the rain, it's going to start really coming down. So, yeah, you don't want to, you work so hard on your lawn and then you don't want to overwater it. So, okay, well, we're here with Carrie with Certified Best Roofing. We've been having a great conversation. And it's so funny. We're talking about roofing, but we are. We're talking about things.
Two women talking about roofing, right?
What is the world coming to?
We're everywhere.
Well, I have noticed your nails, and they're lovely. So, I still we can show our nails. So during break, you brought up some information, some educational kind of stuff that you guys share on your website. Let's talk about that a little bit.
Yeah, we have a PDF on our website that shows you how to select a roofer, how to shop for a roofer. Mm-hmm. It breaks it all down between finding their license, making sure they're insured, all the basics, and it's a checklist. It's a free PDF. It's a really great tool. It also will tell you what steps to take if you're going to file an insurance claim, and the things that you should be asking of the contractor roofer that you're going to be working with.
So what part is it under? I mean, I'm looking at your website right now, and it's quite lovely.
They've done some rearranging, like when you move furniture. So I don't know exactly where it is. If I was looking at your computer, I could be like, oh, click here.
Yeah,
click there.
No, it looks great. But I mean, just know, like I said, you guys come to it's certifiedbestroofing.com, which is really easy to remember because that's exactly the name of their company. Oh, resources. There you go.
Under resources.
Mm-hmm. How to choose a roofer. That's fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
What's the Roof Watcher? I had just hit this one.
The Roof Watcher is where we register your address underneath that storm tracking software so that everyone that we do a repair or a re-roof, we register in there. So if you've been one of our customers in the past, we're already monitoring, so to speak. And if a hail event, wind event, any type of heavy storm affects your address, we get a notification.
That's really cool.
Yeah. So we would call you up and be like, hey, you had 2-inch hail, or hey, you had 60 mile per hour wind gusts. Like, we should probably come take a look.
Do you guys do that? Okay, so I know you keep track of people's roofs, and because I know, like I said, when your guy came out, he had all the documentation from the other job that you did, which I thought was cool. He just opened up his phone. He's like, oh yeah, but the leak was over here. Like the spot he was looking at was different than the one that you had fixed.
Yeah, we take tons of notes. So we have, just behind the curtain kind of scenes in our office is that if you breathed in front of a customer, either on the phone or in person, you need to make a note.
Make a note of it.
Yes.
Yeah. Well,
make a note.
And it was cool, though, because it was super easy for him to pull up saying, okay, no, that damage was over here. But if somebody's kind of like their roof is like my roof is 7 or 8 years old now. I'm not at the 10-year mark, which I still think 10 years.
10 years, you should still, of course, be good.
Yeah.
If your insurance company starts to give you any trouble at that 10-year mark, a lot of people don't know that they can get a roofer like us to do a roof certification, which says, like the quality of your shingles, and will basically say you have 5 years of life, which a roof at 10 years absolutely has 5 years of life. I mean, unless you and someone installed like a really low builder grade shingle, like somebody did something not good for you.
Right.
But most people have a great roof, and those shingles can last 20 plus years in some cases, just depending on, what's affected it.
Why do you think they did that at the 10-year mark? Because it just seems like I've seen, roofs worth, 20-year shingles.
Doesn't it always just boil down to money?
It always does.
Yeah.
It does.
Greed, money. I don't know.
No, that's
but,
true.
At year 10, if the insurance company is, tightening up their belt and telling you that, you need to replace, you can get a roof certification and go shopping in the marketplace and find something better. And at least extend it for a year. But what happens is what I'm seeing in the field is that people get that roof certification, they buy themselves a year, and then when that renewal comes up in a year, they're coming after them for the same thing. But you can keep doing that up to year 15.
Okay.
Is what I've seen.
Right.
Now, there might be somebody else out there in the insurance world that's like, no, that's not how it works. Maybe it's not with every company that it's that way, but it is an option that, we're always trying to find those areas how we can help homeowners, and I've seen it work more than once.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Is that I know you do free service calls, but
it's a free inspection is one thing. A roof certification is something else. It's a document that's signed off on by the roofing contractor.
Right.
He's looked at your roof. He's saying, like based on his name, his license, his everything, I'm saying this roof will be fine for 5 years.
Right. Does he go up in the attic and look on the underneath?
We don't generally need to look in the attic space. It's the quality of the shingles that they're not degrading.
Right. And I meant to go back to the question before, is that if you know somebody has like a roof that's kind of wonky and you see big storms coming, do you actually call them and we'll be like, hey, Angela, I know you've had this damage. We need, would you like us to come out and take a look at it?
Well, you mean after the storm? After the storm.
I was thinking about pre-storm stuff.
I mean, everyone should have their roof. We said this last time I was here. Yeah. Everyone should have a roof inspection once a year. I recommend doing it before storm season. And the reason why is to document the condition of your roof prior to yes, and that way you have that if you did have an issue, then you can show insurance, look, this was before, then there was the hurricane, and now look at it. So you just have more documentation if you do have to file a claim. Right.
Well, I think that's good, because I know with my experience, they try to go back and forth with me on the date of the storm, and at one point they changed the time of the storm, but my roofing company back then caught that and was able to
fight it and be like, point them back to the other thing.
Exactly.
Well, I mean, roof inspections are also good because there's other things going on your roof, like let's say you have a chimney or your gutters or whatever is. I mean, how often are people getting up there to look? It's the first line of defense for any weather, for sun, for wind, for rain, for hail, for hurricanes, everything. It's the first line of defense. But of course, I'm in roofing, so I'm like, your roof is the most important, right?
Right.
But there's people that I know that clients have us out. We'll do a roof inspection. They want to replace, and then when they're like, we're going to remodel the bathroom instead, and that's always interesting to me because their roof is 18 years old. It's time to replace. Between 18 and 20 is when most people are replacing.
Well,
and they're going to remodel the bathroom because that's more shiny than the roof is.
The new bathroom will look great when it's all soaked in water.
I know.
And you've got mold growing.
It's interesting to me. But, people have different priorities. But I say, I get my roof looked at. I just had my roof looked at this week. And I have trees. I got all the leaves blown off. All the little twigs are up there. Got them all blown off. The gutters cleared. And while they were up there, they're like, your chimney, I have 2 chimneys. And they're like, it's a little wobbly. It was wobbly when we redid our roof in 2017 and we had it shored up and fixed, but it's just they're like, and we took out the interior fireplace. All of that's been removed. It's electric now. So we could remove the chimney, and I think that's I'm like, great. Home ownership, there's always something to do.
I know.
One of the things that's so annoying for me is trimming the trees back. I mean, that's also something that helps protect your roof. I mean, even if you've got a little tree, like one of those flowering trees, that's so beautiful in the springtime. But if it's got a small branch, during a 50 mile per hour wind gust, that branch is going to wear all the shingles, all the granules off that section of shingle. And so trimming your trees back, and that's another thing that's I feel like it's just burning money, trim your tree. How much is that? It's so expensive, but those things help prevent, bigger problems down the road.
That's a big issue that we have. And even when your roofer came out the other day, he was like, we do have damage from big, tree limbs falling. Yeah, because we had to go up, and we're in Winter Springs. It's like the
trees everywhere.
Tree capital of the world. We can't.
Yeah. Charlie cleaned them all out, but they've all grown back.
Right. Well, no, the Charlie did take a huge, but we didn't live in this neighborhood at that time. We bought the house in 2004, right after the hurricanes, and so, but we have had a few trees removed just because they were a hazard. We were there, and there's still a couple that make us nervous.
Yeah,
but like you said, it always
it doesn't
down
even have
money.
to be a big tree limb. It could be little branches that you could cut down yourself that would really help. There not be granule damage when that wind starts whipping up.
Is wind the biggest culprit?
It is, and it drives the rain in directions it wouldn't normally go.
So upside down rain.
Yeah, wind-driven rain. That is the primary reason of damage during a hurricane.
Do you think of Forrest Gump? We had rain that came from upside down. We had stingy rain.
Yeah, because people from Milton, a lot of people had a leak. I mean, I see this. I'm looking at roofs all the time. So they had a leak during Milton, but it didn't leak in that same spot ever again. right? And it was only because the perfect way that the wind was hitting the rain, that was hitting the shingle up against the house, and it was coming in. But when that next storm comes, they're going to see a leak in that same spot.
Right. Well, on that note, we're going to run to break. So you guys stay tuned, and we'll finish up with that story when we get back.
Together.
Welcome back. And this portion of the show is brought to you by Frogger's Grill and Bar. Looking for a place to go with friends or meet new ones? Then you're looking for Frogger's Grill and Bar. And with 4 great locations, there's bound to be one near you. And you don't want to miss out on Frogger's amazing menu where everything is fresh, never frozen. Oviedo, Mount Dora, Apopka, and Altamont Springs. Did I miss one? 1, 2, 3, 4. Nope. Visit Froggers.com for more info. At Frogger's Grill and Bar, hop in with food and fun.
Yeah, boy.
I'm such. It doesn't matter how many times he does that. It makes me giggle every single time.
I need that in my everyday life, please. Can I have that?
I know, right? Anytime somebody says something good, you just hit that button.
Yeah. We have that was easy button in our office.
Right. That was Staples that came up with that.
We have one. I love that thing. Yeah.
Anyway, we need one of those. So, well, we're here with Carrie, and we've been having a great conversation. So she's with Certified Best Roofing. And at the beginning of the show, we talked about how we were very intentional about booking this date because it is the start of hurricane season. And, like I said, when we were younger, it's fun, hurricane parties and all the things. Now you're older, you're a homeowner, you're like, oh, what's going to happen? Mm-hmm. So during the break, I told Carrie, I was like, listen, I think that what I really want is to see is to drive home the importance of getting a roof inspection prior to the season. Mm-hmm. We might not get any storms, but we might get 5.
Yeah, that's what they're saying. It's going to be a very, very active storm season this year.
Yeah, and so you don't know. And then in addition to that,
I mean, it could just be a really bad thunderstorm.
Exactly, because sometimes those things are like monsoons.
They are.
So there was one the other day that like the wind almost pushed me right out of the lane when I was driving. So but
very unpredictable here in Florida.
Exactly. It was short-lived, but the wind was substantial. So walk us through the process of getting a home inspection. And first and foremost, there's no cost, right?
There's no cost for a roof inspection. That's why we call it a free roof inspection. Okay. And also our representatives that come out, our account managers, our project managers, they are not pushy salespeople.
Not at all.
We are there to inspect and inform. That's what we're there to do.
So, that's a good thing to bring up because I think that that's what scares a lot of people is if they bring somebody out. Tree trimmers, like people that take down trees, are the worst.
Yeah.
The worst with the scare tactics. It's
a little bit. And then some of them also have relationships with roofers. Like I've had tree companies reach out to me. And there's so many great people in the industry, but you remember the ones that don't do things right. Those are the ones we talk about, the ones we remember, and it gives everybody else a bad name. Same thing with roofers. But we had a tree guy give us a call, more than one tree person give us a call and say, hey, if you develop a relationship with us, every time you send us out to trim tree branches, we'll give you $1,000.
Is that legal?
I don't think so. I don't know. I didn't look into it. I was like, no, thank you. And just moved on. But it sticks in the back of my head. Like not all tree trimming or, companies do that, but there are some out there that do.
I understand referrals and I understand
they're just charging the homeowner an extra $1,000 to give to a roofer. I was like, I don't want to do that. Thanks.
No, we had a roofer come out, or not a roofer, sorry, a tree removal company come out because we had some trees. But then, Tom wasn't home. I was at home and I was doing something and I was not concentrating. It had something to do with the kids. I was flustered. And he got me outside and he was like, look at the damage on this base of this tree. This is a walking disaster. The safety, he triggered me.
Yeah.
So bad. And he's like, and if you say it right now, we'll do it for X amount. Mm-hmm. And I'm just like, okay, just go ahead and do it. You know what I mean?
Well, the tree guys, I usually will go with, it's my neighbors getting their tree cut. And then the neighborhood sends out an email like, hey, the tree guys are going to be here. They're going to be cutting our house. If you want to, have them come to yours. They can take care of you as well. And that's usually when I'm like, okay, come over here and give me a quote.
Yeah.
I'm okay with that. And also it saves me like time from like having to Google and like research everything. Like the neighbor did it, the HOA did it. I'm like, okay, you guys are good. This is the perfect referral, right? And then use it right then. But door knocking, there's roofers that door knock, and then there's tree guys.
There's also, we just got pest control too.
Oh.
And bless his heart, he was not giving up for nothing. And since I've been in sales, I have a soft spot for people in sales, and it's like, no, we have somebody. Well, and I'm like, finally, he's still talking while I'm shutting the door. Click. But again, I think that people are scared. But with a tree, once I realized, like, they took the tree down, it ended up it being like a beautiful tree that could have, once I looked at more into research of it, is that we could have fixed the damage of it. And it took me so long. I'm still upset about it because it opened up this big gap to where our backyard used to be a little bit more of an oasis. So I was super frustrated with that. But people get scared for that. So no free, no pushy. It's just it's evaluation.
We're an evaluation. That's right. An inspection and information. That's what we're doing. And it's a great report. And we will even mention in there if there are things that we see, we're not going to ignore. We're going to give you all the information, and then we're going to give you options. If you want to do this, if you want to do that, if you want to do this, you let us know. And you could even take that information and shop it with another roofing company. Because you need to have options. You need to you don't know us. And maybe it was a referral, or maybe you called us from Google, or you found us online. But, that trust is really important to us. Trust and transparency and reliability is really important to us.
Well, you're not going to show up at the house and be like, okay, so this is how much this is. And if you do it today, then we're going to do it for 20% off.
And what's interesting is a lot of people are surprised by that they're like, you guys never called me back. And we're like, well, we told you to call us. Not that we don't call you back, but like, yes, we did an inspection. We sent you the report. We gave you all the information. You need to tell us what you want to do next. And so people are like, oh, I just thought you would just do it. No, we're not going to do that.
Right. Exactly. No, that's great. And so, the fact that it is just the peace of mind of knowing. And then like for me, when he came out, he showed me some places that probably are going to need to be repaired. That he could say this is, and what's neat is that he can look at it and he can say this is storm damage, and he identified that it looked like it was from tree branches, and I'm like, yeah, well, we did have some, so and that's the big thing is that once the
granules
the granules come off, that's when you're susceptible to the leaks and whatnot. So, I love having an older house because it's so unique, but it comes with a lot of issues too.
My husband calls it being pecked to death by a duck.
Yeah. Well, okay. That's one way to put it.
It's all those little things that you got to take care of.
Right. What year was your house built?
1997.
Okay.
Yeah. But I put a new roof on in 2017.
I'm 1980. And we put ours on about 7 or 8 years ago. And, but I'm already sweating, to be honest with you, because I'm like, 10 years will be here in no time whatsoever.
It's okay. You know a roofer. It's
I do. I know somebody.
You know somebody.
I probably am going to have some stuff done with those little, because this places where on my roof where you could see like where the granules were gone and how he pointed it out. And that's, like you said, that's all great. So you said that there's a place online for people. They can call you.
They can call us at 407-602-3363. They can also text us at that number. All we need is, of course, contact information and address. We're always going to verify that the person reaching out is the owner of the company. Company.
The home.
The owner of the home.
Sure.
We're going to, that was funny. But we're always going to verify who owns the home and that that's actually the person requesting from us. And they can also send us an email at info@certifiedbestroofing.com and request a roof inspection. They can also go to our website and fill out a form.
Okay.
So there's a contact form where they can send us their information. Somebody will reach out and get it scheduled. As long as we have access to the property, permission from the homeowner and access, you don't have to be home unless you want to be.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question.
We will always we'll text, we'll send you and we will call you to schedule it. We will give you the option to not be home. We will send you an email and a text message that tells you what time and who's coming. So you have a photo of the person that's going to be visiting your property. Because if you have a nosy neighbor, you want to make sure who's there.
This is why it's so good, because you're a woman. You get it.
Yeah. So
these are the things that make it's so important that a woman works for this
Yes,
company.
and if we are ever running behind, someone will text you from the office and give you an ETA. If you've given us a gate code or it's a 2-story or you have a dog or whatever, we're gonna ask that information of you, and then they're gonna get on your roof. Now, if your roof is odd angles or a 2-story, to make it efficient, we sometimes do those inspections via drone.
Cool.
And it's got really great photos with it.
That's awesome. Well, Carrie, thank you so much for being our guest today. So much great information. And you guys, thanks to everybody for tuning in today. I hope you're having a great day. And a huge thank you to our sponsors and everybody else. Remember, everyone, to support local.